This is Find Your Voice, a podcast created for music educators who believe that teaching music is about more than notes on a page. Each episode, we'll talk with educators, leaders, and musicians who are shaping the future of music learning, one voice at a time. Whether you're conducting a choir, leading a band, or teaching little ones their very first notes, this is your space to connect, learn, and be inspired. Find Your Voice is sponsored in part by Dr. Mom Music and Central College. We are celebrating all of the holidays. And before there were playlists, before there were algorithms, before there were screens in every pocket, there were voices. Not perfect voices, mind you, but not polished voices either. But familiar voices, voices of your families. Your mom, your grandpa, your crazy uncle or aunt. And maybe your teacher, hopefully your music teacher. And maybe your church choir. For me, it was the church choir. That's where I got my start. I did a lot of accompanying in junior high. That's when I started. And it was your classroom full of maybe off-key courage. And somehow, those voices still live inside the songs that we carry on today. Welcome to Find Your Voice, where we explore the stories, the science, and the songs that shape who we become. Today's episode is called From Their Voices to Ours, Passing Down Christmas Music in the Age of Screens. Because in a world where music is everywhere, we are at real risk of losing the one thing that made it powerful in the first place. Human transmission, human memory, and human voices. Notice the one thing that is consistent there: humanness. Before you hear one more Christmas song today, I want you to ask yourself, whose voice lives inside this song for me? Before Christmas music ever filled shopping malls and radio stations, it lived somewhere much smaller. Before we talk about how Christmas music spread through America, I want to share where Christmas music always really begins: with someone's voice. I have a special guest with us. This is my beautiful mother, Donna Ricks. I'm so excited to have you on Find Your Voice. Thank you for joining us today.
Glad to be here.
So you are my first special guest that is joining us via Zoom. So we're kind of testing it out today, which I'm excited to do. So thank you for being my guinea pig, Mom.
Oh, you're so welcome.
For our listeners that are just tuning in via, Spotify or something that can't see us, we're on screen. And so I'm in the podcast studio and Mom is coming live from her office. And I see that you have your beautiful little Christmas trees on there, your earrings. Those are cute.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got to get in the spirit of things,
That's right. And
I just got these yesterday from Grandpa, from Dad.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. And we have another Christmas concert that we're attending tonight. Yes,
we do.
Yes, we just went to one on Friday night. We have another one tonight. So lots of concerts that we get to attend lately. So speaking of Christmas concerts, I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit about one of your favorite Christmas memories regarding music as a kid.
Well, it's hard to pick one. I have several.
Okay.
I'll start with one that really dates me. Every year, there was a Lawrence Welk special on Saturday night at 7 o'clock. And the whole family would sit. I have two sisters and mom and dad. So the five of us would sit and watch this Christmas special together. And it was always early in the season so that it kicked off Christmas for us. But we never missed that. We didn't do anything else on those Saturday nights but watch the Lawrence Welk special. And so that was always fun. Something else that the family would do together is to attend our elementary Christmas programs. And we, each class would be highlighted and we would do something special. And what I always remember about that is mom and dad sitting there in the audience, and Jan and Gail, my sisters, were there too. And sometimes Gail had to perform too.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember the songs necessarily that we sang, but I remember being up on the stage, which you've seen when we have our TAC Christmases together.
Oh, right.
And the girls always wore crepe paper costumes that our mothers had made for us. And so they were usually in red or green or something Christmassy, but they were always out of crepe paper.
Hmm.
I remember that. And that was always fun because it was fun to see mom and dad there. And I remember my director saying, now don't wave at your parents. So I never did, even though everybody else seemed to be waving. I chose not to. You had to be disciplined and not wave. So that was always fun. As I grew older, I was always in choir, of course, at church and at school. And for 2 different years in high school, we did the Messiah.
Oh, wow.
And one year, I think it was my junior year, because dad was sick and he couldn't come my sophomore year. So just mom came and the sisters. But my junior year, he came and he had his new Polaroid camera, and he kept taking pictures with his Polaroid camera. I remember that. Then it go click, all this noise, and I was kind of embarrassed, but yet I wasn't. I thought it was kind of cool actually. But my junior year is I got to sing a little tiny solo in the Messiah, and we had the orchestra from the high school playing with us, and it was really a neat event. But our director said, as long as we're going to learn this, we're going to do it 2 years in a row. And so that was kind of nice because we learned it by heart. We did not use music. It was really neat. And then the following day, he had special treats for us, which was really odd for this director to have special treats for us. But I remember that. I don't remember what they were. I just was so impressed that he had something for us, which was really neat. But I remember dad had all those pictures and he just thought that was pretty neat. So I think part of the tradition that I would share is just the family tradition, the fact that we did so many things together.
Churches, kitchens, front porches, and town squares. Early American Christmas music came largely from Europe. English carols and German hymns brought by immigrants in the 1700s and 1800s. These songs were not entertainment at first. They were survival songs, faith songs, community songs. One of my favorites, Silent Night. How about O Come All Ye Faithful, or God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. They were sung by candlelight, often in freezing cold churches, by people who had very little. But they still sang anyway. That's where those communities came together.
But I think the real highlight was Christmas Eve. And we always had a Christmas Eve service. And for all the years of my elementary school, and I don't know how many years beyond that, it was always the Sunday school Christmas program. And of course, back then we all had memorized pieces that we said and special songs that we sang. And I remember one year my grandparents came too, and that was really, really special because that didn't happen a lot, that our grandparents came to things. And we always had a nativity scene. In my 6th grade year, I was chosen to play Mary. And that meant I got to sing a little tiny solo. And so that was kind of cool because I wasn't really, I mean, I loved to sing, but I didn't really have much of a voice at that point. Well, I never did, but I did later
Mhm.
on in life. And so Christmas Eve was always neat. And after the program, there were two things that were especially important. One was that my dad's men's group would get together on Saturday while we were having our dress rehearsal and put together brown paper bags with an orange and an apple and nuts and some candy. And so they would hand those out to us after we were done. And I remember Dad's smile. He just loved doing that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And so that was really neat. The other thing is, as we walked out of the church, if we would have a very light layer of snow falling, and then the lights around the church would glisten, it was really neat. Now, that didn't happen every year, but there were several years that was really neat. And then we'd all get in the family car and drive home together.
Mhm.
And uh, and I think the Christmas Eve with all of the singing all of the Christmas carols imaginable
Mhm.
was just really, really neat. And my dad loved to sing. My mom loved to sing.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, mom couldn't carry a tune. She needed you to teach her how, Sarah.
Mhm.
Uh, Dad could, but he didn't do it very often, except on Christmas Eve. And then he would sing lustily. Because those were all familiar songs that everybody knew, and he'd
Mhm.
sung them since he was a little kid. And so that was that. And mom would sing lustily too, but she knew she couldn't carry it too.
Mhm.
I felt so bad for her because she loved to sing. But hey, that's the way it was. My youth group would go caroling, but that wasn't a family thing. That was just whoever was in the youth group, we would go caroling. So there was always a lot of music. And I remember starting piano lessons in third grade. And that year for Christmas, I was up in my bedroom and I was looking down through the register and I saw my mom wrapping presents. And she wrapped a present of, now I can't remember the name of it, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Oh.
Rudolph was my present. She'd gotten it at the music store in Mason City.
Mm.
And it was so complicated, there was no way a third grader who just started piano could play it. But I was able to pick out a melody.
Mm.
And so that was always neat. And
Mhm.
grandma wasn't real strong, but my grandpa Tack would sing,
Mhm.
although he thought a farmer shouldn't be singing. I remember him saying that once, but he
Mhm.
did. Now, on my mom's side of the family, my grandpa died when I was 4, but I remember him playing the harmonica. Grandma loved going to church to sing the hymns.
Then something revolutionary happened. Christmas music moved from only the church into the home. Families began gathering around pianos. Children learned harmonies before they could read. Neighbors sang through dark streets. Christmas music didn't spread because it was efficient. It spread because it was relational. One person sang and another joined. A child listened, a generation copied. It moved at the speed of relationship. At the same time, another powerful Christmas sound was forming in America, one that carried both joy and survival. African American spirituals and gospel shaped the deepest emotional roots of American Christmas. Songs like Go Tell It on the Mountain, Rise Up Shepherd, and Follow. These were not gentle lullabies. They were songs of hope in impossible conditions, songs of deliverance, songs of light in the darkest of times. While some families sang about snow and hearth fires, others sang about freedom and promise. These songs later shaped gospel Christmas traditions, R&B Christmas, and contemporary worship music. This part of the Christmas story reminds us Christmas music in America is not just nostalgic, it is resilient. It has always carried both beauty and burden at the same time. And then came the radio, and with it, voices that shaped a nation's Christmas. Voices like Bing Crosby, Nat King Cole, Frank Sinatra, and Judy Garland. When White Christmas, my favorite, was recorded in 1942, America was at war. That song wasn't sparkle. It was actually longing for home, for peace, for reunion, for safety. Do you know the lyrics to White Christmas? Can you hear Bing Crosby singing it? I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. Oh, that takes me back to my childhood when I would watch it in black and white with my mom every Christmas. And I know that at first I did not appreciate it at all. In fact, I would go to any room except the living room to watch it. But then I would begin to sit down and take a look at good old White Christmas. And I began to find the home and peace, reunion, and safety in families gathered around radios, record players, just listening together. Just like for the first time in history, people didn't need to make music themselves to have Christmas music.
And then I have with me my copy of White Christmas. Now, White Christmas is the family movie. We always watched it
Mhm.
as a family. And my poor music has had it. It's coming apart because I've had it forever. And I remember Reverend Sly, who was my second piano teacher in high school. He and I would play this together on his piano at his church. And oh, we had so much fun playing it, but it's really seen its better days, that's for sure. I went through all my music yesterday and found some stuff I'd forgotten that I had. Silver bells and that I played for my grandparents' 50th wedding anniversary and things like that. So yeah, we've used a lot of music and it has been enjoyable.
So, why do you think music was such a big part of your life growing up?
Well, mom and dad really encouraged my piano. And they bought for $35. I remember how much it cost, a second or third hand, I don't know, maybe a fourth hand, old upright piano that went in our living room. And then they had it tuned and they were always very supportive of getting me to my lessons. My lessons cost $1 a piece at the early time. Of course, third grade was 1958, 9 in through there. So that's a long time ago. And Mrs. Wigman, my elementary music teacher, was my piano teacher. And they always supported that. And I remember one time I didn't have time to practice through the week. And so Mrs. Wigman kind of chastised me at my lesson, rightly so. And so when I got in the car, mom said, "Well, how'd things go?" And I said, "Not very good." "What do you mean, not very good? Didn't you practice?" "No, I didn't, Mom." So she made sure I practiced the next week so that I'd
Mhm.
have a better report from Mrs. Wigman. So I think music has been very supportive. My dad used to play the guitar a little bit. And so he would play guitar sometimes to not much, but sometimes. And we'd sing a few little ditties, little Christmas carols with that. So I think the support of mom and dad was really important. They tried to be at all of my programs Didn't always work. They couldn't always be at everything. Mom would try, but dad had to be out in the field sometimes and couldn't get to everything. Mom would sing around the house. At least she knew all the words, whether she
Mm-hmm.
could get the tune going or not. But she would sing lustily and we would love it no matter
Mm-hmm.
what it sounded like. And then we'd laugh and she'd laugh. And so, and my sisters and I would do trios. Gail had a pretty strong voice. Jan was more like mom, but we tried. So I would play and the three of us would sing. And so we would try to put something together for a Christmas present for mom and dad on Christmas Eve when we got home. And so then we would have a little sing along that we led with them. Mom had a huge collection of the old 78 records, the
Mm-hmm.
old black records like this. They were seven, and she had all of the crooners from the 20s, 30s, and 40s. And so
Oh.
we would put those on because you could put 5 or 6 records on at the
Uh-huh.
same time. And then as it got done with one, the next one would fall into place and so forth. And, um, and so we listened to those records a lot.
Okay.
Blueberry Hill, I remember is one she loved by Tennessee Ernie Ford, and we listened to that a lot.
Hmm.
And then we finally did move to the 45s when
Mm-hmm.
Jan was in high school. Then we used the smaller 45s and would just listen and listen and listen to those. We didn't have much else except maybe a transistor radio as I got into high school. Well, we had a radio too. The radio station would play music too. Mom and dad liked to dance. And so
Hmm.
once in a while they'd go to a dance. They enjoyed that kind of music. So I guess that's where I get my love of dance. I do like to dance. And Liam and I like to dance together
Yes.
too. Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
When they
I,
used
I
to go to
guess,
bluegrass shows,
oh
didn't
yeah.
they?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Once they retired and bought a camper,
Mm-hmm.
um, and bought a mini home, then they had a camping group, a kind of a neighborhood camping group. Oh, they
Mm-hmm.
would go to bluegrass a lot through the summer. Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they love their music and anything with westerns. We would watch Roy Rogers and Dale Evans and listen to them sing. And oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we always had a lot of music going. You don't even stop to think about it until you really have to think about it,
Mm-hmm.
like for
Mm-hmm.
this. But yeah, there was always music,
Mm-hmm.
always music.
Mm-hmm.
Dad got it from his mom
Hmm.
because his parents we've had it refurbished and it's yours. It's whenever you
Oh, the
want it.
Victrola?
Yeah, the Victrola. And so it had, you had to wind it up. And that was my grandmother Tax.
Yeah.
And so she played that quite a bit at home. And I remember that as a little girl, even that she would play that. And Grandpa could sing pretty good.
They could simply receive it. This was the first quiet shift from participation to consumption. It was a beautiful shift, but a dangerous one too, because it taught us this idea. You don't have to sing. Someone else will do it for you. And we see it every day on college campuses far and wide, where kids have the headphones or the earbuds stuck in, and they're consuming music, but they're not creating. We've become a society of consumers and not creators. From radios to records to CDs to YouTube to TikTok to AI generated Christmas playlists. The music has never been more available, and yet fewer people are singing it themselves. We are now that first generation of parents in history raising children who may never need to sing at all. They can watch instead of join, scroll instead of listen, consume instead of create. When music becomes something we only watch, not something we do, we lose more than sound. We lose breath connection, eye contact, call and response, group timing, nervous system regulation, emotional mirroring. Christmas music used to sound like a shaky solo in a school gym, a grandmother's piano missing keys, a church choir that sang anyway, a family that didn't match pitch but matched love. Now it often sounds like auto-tuned perfection. Someone else's family, someone else's voice, someone else's moment. And that shift quietly changes who owns the music. For so many of us, our first musical performance wasn't a recital. It was a Christmas program. Paper halos, borrowed bathrobes, crooked recorders, parents crying for no clear reason. And here's the truth. You do not remember the most perfect Christmas performance you ever heard. You remember the one where your knees were shaking. Your mom mouthed the words from the front row. Your dad filmed it sideways. Your whole class came in late. And you know what? Nobody cared. Because memory does not form through polish. It forms through participation. Children do not need better Christmas music. They need more permission to make it. When people sing together, especially in repeated seasonal traditions, the brain receives emotional co-regulation, language mapping, attachment reinforcement, stress reduction, identity formation. When children only watch music on screens, they receive visual stimulation, dopamine spikes, passive intake. But they don't get the following: shared breath, group pulse, mirrored emotion, vocal confidence, and belonging. So the real question is no longer, do our kids like Christmas music? It is, do they belong inside it? So now we come to the heart of this episode. Christmas music will not disappear because of technology. It will disappear if we stop passing it by voice. Not by playlist, not by link, not by screen, but by a parent singing anyway. A teacher choosing live music. A grandparent humming loudly. A classroom daring to sound human. A family willing to be imperfect together. Because here is the truth. Tradition does not survive through information. It survives through imitation. From their voices to ours, to our children's. So if you had to choose your favorite Christmas song, one, what would it be?
Well, I can't choose just one.
Only
It's
one.
too, oh,
Just one.
okay. I'm going to write one right now. It's called Silent Night, White Christmas.
Cheater.
I know. Well, I can't. Although I love Joy to the World. Ask me this. a secular and a sacred.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
So
right.
my
Okay,
secular
fine.
would be White Christmas,
Uh-huh.
sung by Bing Crosby. And of course it's by Irving Berlin. And then my sacred would be Silent Night.
Okay, there you go.
Because Silent Night we usually always ended, and we do this at my church now with the
Mm-hmm.
candlelight. And I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
how,
those would be my two.
okay. I see where I get my like way of getting around questions too.
Yeah,
That,
well, you gotta rewrite them sometimes.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I hope I haven't been too boring.
No, not at all. We appreciate everything and especially the connections between those family memories and how music ties into all of the times together with family and how Christmas and holidays play right into
Mhm.
those connections. So,
Very true.
thank you
Very
for
true.
being with us today,
You
Mom.
bet. My
Appreciate it.
pleasure, dear daughter. Love you.
We'll see you tonight.
Yeah, see you tonight.
All right. Love you.
Love you.
That is how Christmas music in America stays alive. Tonight, before you press play, try this instead. Sing one verse, hum one line. Let a child hear your real voice. Because if one child learns a song from your living breath this season, then Christmas music will continue, not as content, but as inheritance. If this episode stirred a memory in you, will you share it with someone today? Text them a song, send them a voice memo, sing it at bedtime. And if you're building brains and bonds through music with us here at Dr. Mom Music, this is where it all begins. With one voice, one song, one memory at a time. Love was born at Christmas. Love, a lovely love divine. Love was born at Christmas. Star and angels gave the sign. That was the song that my grandma Tack sang with me at my Uncle Buddy's funeral. So that's when I learned that my grandma Tack didn't really carry a tune, but was one that sang with great passion. And I'll never forget it. And that was the first time that I had heard someone not be able to carry a tune, quite honestly. And I remember looking at her and thinking, why is she singing with such passion and not able to sing the right notes? And I was, golly, I don't remember, maybe 9 or 10. But I know that song and I love that song because my grandma sang it with passion. And that's what mattered. It didn't matter that she sang the right notes. Because as my mom talked about, she kind of struggled with that all her life. And it didn't matter to my mom or to her sisters that she sang the right notes. It mattered that she sang. So sing to your children. Sing every day and sing with confidence and with passion. because that inheritance that you give your kids, your grandkids, could turn into a professional singer someday. And they will remember that inheritance and that grandparent that sang with great passion. Give them that gift. I put together a game for your family to play this holiday season. It forces you to create together. Create that content. Have some family time. Create music. Sing and be silly. Have some fun. Take the time to ask questions, to find out what it is about that one song that makes your aunt's heart come alive at Christmas time. Find out why your niece or nephew really does love Silent Night. Or what is it about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer that your grandpa just loves? Because someday your grandpa won't be here to tell you. It's that inheritance piece that matters. And it's music that can tell us so much about a person. And we can share those gifts for a lifetime. Being a lifelong musician is about creating music, not just consuming it. When I listen to my mom talk about the Christmas memories she has from being a little girl, I hear more than just music. I hear inheritance. Those songs didn't just pass through radios and record players. They passed through my grandparents' hands, their voices, through living rooms and generations. And now they live in me, and through me, they live in my children. Tonight, when you hear a Christmas song, I hope you don't just recognize it. I hope you recognize who gave it to you. From their voices to ours and onward. Before we wrap up today's episode, we close with a segment I call Pay It Forward. Inspired by Amy Poehler's Good Hang, this is my favorite part of the show because instead of ending with a question about our guest, someone else gets the final word. It's a moment to simply say thank you, to honor people who shaped us, lifted us up, and kept music alive in our hearts and in our homes. Today, I want to say a special thank you to my mom. Thank you, Mom, for being on Find Your Voice, episode 7. Thank you for teaching me to love. Thank you for always being there for me, no matter what. Thank you for saying yes to singing from day one. Thank you for teaching me that music isn't just something that is in our house constantly, but it's something that I can do to share the love of Christ. And it's something that I can do to bring a paycheck home. It's something that I can do on a daily basis. And it's something that I can share with thousands of people every day. Mom, thank you for saying yes every single day to my dreams. And thank you for the way you have poured love, joy, and music into my kids, into your grandchildren, and into thousands of students and family and friends throughout your whole journey of life. We know what a warm and wise woman you are, and we are so thankful for you. But today is extra special because there is a secret surprise guest that also wants to thank you. And I'm super excited for this moment because you have no idea that this is coming. And my sister by choice wants to also say thank you. Your kindness, Mom, reached her across oceans. The way you welcomed her and encouraged her from day one as well has left a lasting impression. And though we can't see her every day, I know that you are always in her heart and on her mind. So thank you, Mom. I love you to the moon and back. And today, Yulia, you get the final word.
I met Donna as an international student in Grinnell, my very first week of college. I had just moved there from the other side of the world, and I didn't really know anything about the U.S. And Donna and her husband Al made it home for me very soon. It didn't take long for me to start calling her mom. She became my American mom. She welcomed my friends. She celebrated every major occasion of my life at that point in time. She let me study in my favorite room in her house, and she made me feel seen and loved. My favorite parts were probably around the time when Thanksgiving came, and then the next day, she let me decorate the Christmas trees in the house. And to this day, she sends me messages every year to remind me that's something that we did together. And I have started putting up the Christmas tree the day after Thanksgiving because I just remember those times so fondly, and I just miss doing that with her. And I fondly remember finals week too because of the study times that I had in her home, where I would get to listen to the Christmas CD in the downstairs CD player and just the smell of baked cookies around the house. I will always remember those days fondly, and I just wish I could get to see my mom a lot more often, because the way she supported me and loved me and took care of me and still loves me from a distance is one of the most special things that I have ever experienced in my life. And it has changed who I am as a person, and it has given me inspiration for who I want to be as a person, a human, a friend, a mother, and a wife. And I just wanted to say thank you, Mom.
Find Your Voice with Dr. Mom is produced, edited, and engineered by Dr. Sarah Van Wardhuizen. Music composed by Dr. Sarah Van Wardhuizen. To book with Dr. Mom, email dr.mom.music4@gmail.com.